Hello, you speakers. I'm Katsam.
I'm George.
And I'm Javier.
Welcome back to the You Speak English podcast, your ultimate destination to level up your language skills. Today, we're discovering the English language origins and global impact. We'll dive into the history of English from its beginnings to its current status as a global language. I'm Katsa, joined by George and Javier.
Hello, everybody. How great to be here again. This topic is great, and I'm so excited to share it with all of you.
Hi, guys. And I agree, George. Every English has a rich and complex history, and I can't wait to explore it with our listeners. So let's talk about roots of the English language.
All right, so let's get down to business. Let's start with the roots of English. It all began with the Germanic tribes. Germanic tribes, very ancient tribes, very far away tribes. If you want to look into it, we can leave you some links here. But these tribes were the Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes. Did you know the early forms of English trace back to these tribes?
Wow, that's so interesting. So, Katza, Old English emerged with the arrival of these tribes in England. Many of the earliest records of English come from this period.
An interesting example of the term, for example, the 3, 2, 1. An interesting example is the epic poem Beowulf, one of the oldest texts in English. It may seem unintelligible to us today, but was a cornerstone of early English literature, Norman influence, and the evolution of Middle English. Listen to this short piece of the poem read in Old English.
What way gar dana in yar dagum feud kuninga thrimje frunan hutha athalingus ellen fremidon. Oft schild shaving shathen a threatum monegum maigthum meru setla oftea. Egg so de erlas suthan arest worth fashaft funden. Hethas frovra jebad. Weox under woknum, weorth mundum tha, o that him aig wilch thara setindra, over hron rade, huran shulde, gomban yildan. That was god kuning. Them avra was, after Kenneth, young in yardum, thone god sende foke de frovre. Fear in tharve onyat, that he drugon aldor laze longe wile. Him thas lifre wodres walden, wordare forjaf. Beo was breme, blad wide sprang, schuldes avra shedilandum in. Swashal young guma, gore wirchan, fromum feo hiftum on fader berme, that hinean ulde eftie wunien, willie sithos, thone wicume, leodia lastan. Lof darum shall in magtha yawera man yetheon.
Wow. Whoever says that English is difficult today, for sure they were not alive back then.
I know. I heard a segment. I heard a piece of it, and it's. I mean, you cannot understand it. It's a completely different language. But that's the origin of
Completely.
English. It was a very different English from the one we speak right
Totally.
now.
Yeah.
Now, if you
Yeah.
want to train your ear in terms of that, or just get a wisp more of what Old English would seem like, just read a Bible. Most older Bibles were
That's
written
very
in
old
Old
English too.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Now, let's talk about Norman's influence. In 1066, the Norman conquest brought significant changes to English.
Exactly, Katza. The Normans introduced many French words into English, which began transforming Old English into what we know now as Middle English. And just a little fun fact here about this. So the Normans who spoke French, when they introduced these words into English or Anglo-Germanic English, they were considered the people who spoke English. They were considered the ones that were raising and doing all the services. In this case, the farmers, whereas the elite, the conquerors here, the Normans, well, they spoke French. So the later on these two languages, mixed, and that's the kind of, a little bit more the kind of English that we speak right now. But going back to what I was just telling you about, so the Anglo-Saxons, the ones that were raising these let's say animals in the farms, they had names for these animals, whereas the Norman French, the elite, referred to the meat of these animals with different words. For example, for the Anglo-Saxons, okay, the farmers, they called it pig, whereas the Norman French called it pork. Cow was beef, and chicken was poultry. So just a little, additional fun fact there about what I just mentioned.
Wow.
Absolutely, George. And for instance, also in many legal documents and governmental terms, they have French roots. Due to this influence, we have words like court and justice. Now, during the Renaissance in the early modern English, they came up with other words that influenced the English language. For example, ballet, okay, or cafe.
Right.
Parade is also a French word. Tour, and my personal favorite, garage.
Garage.
Yeah, did you know that? Garage
Yeah.
is
I
French
didn't.
word. Have you seen
Interesting.
The Simpsons where they say home? No, it's Mo. It says garage. Ooh la la, Mr. Frenchman. Remember the meme? What do you call it? A car hole. Yeah, garage.
No.
A
You
car
didn't see
hole?
it? A car. Well, it's a Mo. It's a Simpson
No.
reference.
Okay.
Okay, now
Ooh la la, Mr.
from The
Frenchman.
Simpsons to the Renaissance, back to
Okay.
Renaissance.
That's a shift.
And the early modern English that was started to be created. The modern English was a pivotal period for standardizing English.
Yes, absolutely. Gutenberg's invention of the printing press enabled the widespread dissemination of English texts, which helped standardize the language.
Yes, and can we forget Shakespeare, whose works not only enriched the English vocabulary, but also established many phrases and expressions still used today? For example, I don't know if you knew, but I grew up in the United States. I never met my father. My uncle is the one that actually raised me, so I can legally say, I was fathered by my uncle. That means
Okay.
he was like a father to me, which we owe this to Shakespeare. He was the one that popularized taking nouns in English as verbs. Can you guys think of any more? A noun as a verb.
Noun as a verb. Yeah. Coined. They coined the new word.
Yes, exactly.
And that's
All
why you
right.
can I have a paint to paint, a race to race, a judge to judge. Gotta go, guys.
Okay. All right. Now let's discuss the global expansion of English, which is actually the reason for everyone studying English now, the expansion of the language.
Yeah.
Now, British colonization played a crucial role in spreading the language.
Totally. During the height of the British Empire, English spread to every corner of the globe, from North America to India and Australia.
So this made English a lingua franca in many international contexts, particularly in trade and diplomacy. Today, English remains the dominant language in many former British colonies. English in the modern world. Guys, can you remind our listeners what is a lingua franca?
Yes, please do. You were the one who brought it up.
Yeah.
Thank you for your permission. Lingua franca means it's a language that everyone uses to communicate generally.
Yes.
Yes, it comes.
And why do we call it lingua franca?
During the time of the French Norman Empire, the Normans, like you mentioned, well, French was their dominant language. So we normally, linguistically speaking, adopt the language of the most powerful nation. Now, this also includes standards of beauty. So, yes, why do we think that blondes with blue eyes are more beautiful? Because the people that are blonde and more beautiful are in the nation with the most power.
Oh my God.
And
Even if they use wigs, because they were all wigs.
Well, during the Roman Empire, believe it or not, the curly hair, the Roman curly hair, and the fashion, the profile was very
Yeah.
much in style.
Yeah.
Well, that was the standard of beauty.
Yeah, it's like the Chinese, they hate when they're born with curly hair, and that's why they straightening.
because they see
Yeah.
the West as the attainable
Mm.
goal.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
it's not related to numbers, guys. If you go out
Yeah.
by numbers, yes, Chinese is the most dominant language in the world.
Yeah.
It's about power of the
It's
nation.
about power. That's
That's
right. So, speaking of power, which I think it's a relevant thing that I'm going to say, communication is power too. So that's why English in the modern world is now the global language, right?
True. And
Yeah.
every
Now,
movie, any movie that you see, the hero goes somewhere and there's someone that speaks English somehow. They picked up
exactly,
English.
at least.
Right?
Yeah. And, you know, English is also dominant in technology and science. What are your thoughts on this?
You know, it's impressive. Most scientific research and technological developments are documented in English, making it essential for professionals in these fields, and I might add, in any field nowadays. You know, an interesting fact, adding to this is that, guys, did you know that around 3 billion people around the globe speak English to communicate with the rest of the people? Even though that English might not be their mother tongue, English is a language for them to communicate with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And this is interesting because they're using the words that have been shaped throughout history, English words, for around 6,000 years.
Right.
So English is there, and I think we'll be here for you know, a very long time.
Yeah. Also
Now,
in society, I know, I
mhm.
think, for example, I have a neighbor, she's German, and her husband is Mexican. And she has learned just a little bit of Spanish, but he talks to her in English. So that's their common language is English. Even though they would both
Mhm.
be able to, you know, learn each other's language, they have chosen to communicate in English.
Yeah, totally.
Interesting. And that's because, guys, it's all around the world. You know, and a perfect example of what's going on right now is the Olympic Games. Did you guys know that when they announce the winner, they have to do it in 3 languages? They have to do it in the language of the place where the Olympics Games are, in
Yes.
French and in English, because
Yes.
French is the official language of the Olympic Games, and obviously English is lingua franca, so that everybody can understand
Everybody
what they were
can
saying.
understand it. Yep. That's
Also,
right.
Javier, you know, and you were in this industry some you know, many years ago, is on planes, right? Where they're
Yes,
giving the
totally.
instructions, okay, the pilots or even the you know, the flight attendants, when they give you
Yes.
the instructions, yes, they do it in, you know, the language where they are in. For example, in Mexico, they do it in Spanish, but they have to do it in English, even though nobody in there might speak English, but they do it in English.
Yes.
They have to, pilots have to pass a special test. Think of it as an IELTS test for pilots. Otherwise, they cannot fly internationally. Period.
That's right.
The funny part here is that you might have a plane that is coming from Mexico and it's going to the United States, and maybe the people in the tower speak Spanish and the pilot is Mexican. They have to speak English.
Yep, they do.
There you go.
And talk about the influence of social media in communication and global information.
Yes, Rocasa. Additionally, English is the primary language of the internet and social media, facilitating global communication and access to information. Everything on the internet, everything on social media is in English. And if you don't have it, you're missing out.
Yes. Yes. Now, summing up, we've seen how English has evolved from its Germanic origins to become a global language. Any final thoughts?
I just find it fascinating how language can adapt and evolve over centuries, absorbing influences from many cultures.
That's right.
I completely agree, George. English continues to change and adapt and making it even more intriguing to study. Now, did you guys know that what a dead language is? You heard of a dead language? It's a language that is no longer.
I think it's a language that's not used anymore by any culture.
Everybody thinks that, but actually the definition of a dead language is a language that no longer evolves. So a perfect example is Latin. You can buy a Latin dictionary for Latin, and it won't evolve. There won't be any more words added to it. That's why it's used for science.
Oh, and English is so alive then.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
cool.
mean,
It's
it
English
goes
is
hand
the
in hand
most
with a
alive.
culture that doesn't use it, because I don't know if there's a country that uses or speaks Latin to communicate, amongst themselves.
Well,
No,
if
I
you
don't think
count the Vatican as a country, then that's probably the only
Yeah.
one. It
Well,
is a
it is
country
the
after all.
country.
Yeah, but
But do you think they
speak
use it to, hey, pass me the salt or something like that in Latin?
Like daily,
I don't
like
think
daily
so.
communication.
Every
Probably
day
for giving
communication.
giving mass, or probably, but I don't think it's on a daily
You know,
basis.
On
I do,
Teams.
you forget. I used to be an altar boy. Remember that? Like when I did
Now I
it,
understand it all.
that's why.
Oh my God,
So
you
I
did
was
not
this
learn
close to being a
anything.
priest, and they
Don't
had
go
to
there, Katza.
no, don't. They have to speak Latin. I mean, not just read it.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Well, they have to practice.
yeah, they have to
Oh,
speak it. They have to practice
Yeah.
speak it.
What
Okay,
happens
now
if they need to exercise somebody?
something,
The
the
exorcisms are
exercise.
done in Latin.
I think you meant exercise. Some of them do. Okay, no, kidding. But
Okay.
anyway, English is the most alive language in the world. It's a language that is constantly
Mhm.
adapting and adopting from other languages.
Yep.
You have English, they adopt from Chinese, from Japanese, Spanish. We say words in Spanish in
Mhm.
English.
Yeah, like
Rodeo.
tacos.
Yeah, this is not my first rodeo, guys, or rodeo, should I say?
They even use carne asada now.
Carne asada.
Oh,
Oh,
they do?
I
Yeah.
heard
Fancy that.
I heard in one of the videos that I
Chipotle.
said Chipotle, and they say queso fresco.
Queso fresco.
They still
Oh,
say queso
tamale.
fresco.
crema.
Mainly
They also
food,
say
right?
crema. Uh-huh.
Crema. They won't say cream. They'll say crema too.
No, they say
Well, you
crema.
can't blame them. Mexican food is, sorry, Italians,
The star.
is the most delicious food around the world.
Yes.
True. Now keep in
Yes.
mind, Japanese like tsunamis, and I don't know if you guys heard about like the barbecue grill. There's a smaller version. It's called a hibachi. Have you heard of that?
No.
I've seen
It's a
it.
small-
Yeah.
it's like a smaller
Mhm.
Japanese
Grill?
style
Yeah.
grill, and it's called a hibachi, and that's it. And now it's a common word
Oh,
in the United States.
that's the one I think I'm going to be able to afford.
A little thing like this, cats. Like
Yes, it's small and cute, like most
Yeah,
Japanese
but
stuff.
it's only for
Yeah.
2 people. So,
Yeah.
they'll take it to your table right there. Okay.
Oh,
exactly.
and we get
Exactly.
paparazzi from the Italians, and we use it in English.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's Italian word.
Oh, hey Javier, I saw a movie. Well, you've seen it in John Wick, excommunicado. I saw,
Excommunicado. Yeah, you're
I remember that
excommunicado.
word.
That's
Yeah, and-
Italian, right?
But that's Italian. But you notice how
I
they
thought
tr-
it was Latin.
No.
I think it is Latin, George. You're absolutely right, and
Yeah.
it's like when you make a mistake, a social mistake, you say it's a faux pas, in French.
Oh, no, but I
or
never
we
make
go-
mistakes.
Or George likes to go tete-a-tete with me, in French, tete-a-tete, head-to-head.
Oh,
Yeah, remember?
beautiful.
Or
It doesn't sound right. It just sounds weird. I'd rather go say it.
Well, I'm sorry, George. I'll have to say it's mea culpa.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
and I love that. Love the fact use it to your advantage.
All right.
Hey, guys. Wait a minute. We're forgetting something.
What?
Can't just
What?
finish
What?
like
What?
this.
What?
We're forgetting about Javier's star contribution to this podcast.
Oh, that's
Javier.
right. I'm so
My
sorry, dude.
God. That's right, guys. It's the fun fact of the day. Drum roll. Brrr. Guys, try to picture this. You live in France in the 19th century. Won't you look cool, like in a 19th century outfit? Wouldn't you look great? And you work
with
in a
my white
factory.
wig.
Yeah, your hair in a bun. You're so cute.
Hey,
Now,
I don't
keep
like
in
that. I
mind-
don't want to work in a factory.
Now, keep in mind that this is the dawn of the Industrial Revolution. So, sadly, you are being replaced by machines.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know, right? Bummer.
Something like
You
right
are
now.
very, sacre bleu.
Uh-huh.
You, a very frustrated femme fatale, decide to do something about it, right? I'm just kidding. You're not a femme fatale. I just love that word in French. Anyway, you decide to throw your wooden shoe that people wore back in those days, which were commonly known as clogs. We know them as clog and the Swiss use them. If you remember those.
Oh, yeah, the
Yes.
Dutch use them too.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Dutch,
Dutch use them
exactly.
too.
Pretty much, I thought it was just from the Dutch, you know.
Yeah.
No, apparently it was used around Europe.
Yes.
Okay, so they took this wooden shoe
Yeah,
into
they
the machine
were,
in order
yeah.
to jam it, you know, to mess with the machine. And this shoe in French is called a sabot, S-A-B-O-T.
Oh my God, I know where
Yeah.
you're going.
The people who did this
Ah.
were known as saboteurs. And from here, we get the term sabotage.
Oh my God.
Ah.
Now, over time, guys, the meaning of the word sabotage has expanded to include any international or intentional, act of destruction, disruption, or obstruction, or anything that ends in action, whether in the workplace, military context, or other settings. So don't sabotage your language learning experience and stay with us in the podcast.
You know
Yeah.
something, Javier?
Yep.
I'm really glad that they didn't use a chancla.
Oh, yeah. I
Can
mean,
you
a
imagine
wooden
that?
shoe. I would be a really well-behaved little French kid if my mom wore the wooden shoes.
Hey, Javier, weren't they supposed to be like really poor, back in, working in a factory?
Yes.
They were basically throwing away their shoes, right? Like,
They're throwing their shoes away.
wouldn't that make
Yeah.
life worse for them?
I don't
They're
know.
Well,
sabotaging their own selves.
Yeah,
Ah,
themselves.
I know.
Yeah.
There's that. Oh my
Well,
God.
that's a human
you
thing,
see?
right?
They're
To sabotage
sabotaging
yourself.
They're
themselves.
sabotaging themselves.
That's right.
Wow, that's like a time chronology divided by zero, George. You just opened up a black hole. Just opened up a black hole there. Stop it.
This is getting
Yeah.
deep. This is a really deep
Oh my
conversation,
God.
guys.
I'm still trying to digest the chancla, because if you
Yeah.
threw away your chancla, you would be a chanclateur.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay,
And then the word, the
chanclet-
next one would be the chanclatage.
Okay, Jordan Peterson, move out. We're coming in and taking over.
Exactly. It's like Mexican English is taking over. We
There
are
you go.
building the reign of power.
Mex, I can.
All
Yeah,
right,
Mexican.
all right. Very
That's
good,
right.
guys.
Come on, Kata. Are you a Mexican or a Mexican?
I'm a Mexican for
There
sure. Yeah. Yep. All right. Thank you, George and Javier, and thank you all for joining us. See you in the next episode. This is it for today. Thank you for tuning in, and remember to subscribe and share. Want to get in touch? Check out our YouTube channel where you can comment on our videos or find us on social media. We're everywhere except for X and Threads as at USPK English, the one with the yellow logo. For more information about us, please visit our website or social media. And remember,
Perfect practice.
Makes perfect.
all right, until next time.
See you then.
Bye-bye.
Kata, you want to hear a joke?
Yes, I want to hear the joke. Where is the ocean the
Oh my
deepest?
God, I thought you had forgotten.
George, where's the ocean? the
But
deepest?
it's right there. I cannot overlook it.
I wasn't gonna do it. Okay, where's the ocean the deepest?
I don't know.
Where is the deepest ocean?
No, where's
No,
the ocean?
where is the ocean the
deepest?
deepest?
Where is the ocean the deepest?
I'm waiting.
Oh my God. I'm afraid to ask.
At the
Where?
bottom.
At
Mic
the
drop.
bottom.
My God.
What? What? It's true.
Well, if you ever switch careers and decide to be a comedian, I'm your groupie number one.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet.
At
Nah,
the bottom.
George, George will be front row throwing wooden shoes at
You
me.
know, Javier, I'm gonna clog you. I'm
Chanclatashing
gonna start
you.
clogging
Yeah,
you.
He's
No,
gonna be-
this is my opportunity to start coin a
Big
new word.
chance.
I'm gonna chanclear you, man.
Hey, dude, if Gabriel can do it, I can do it. All right.
Yes,
Remember
All right.
Gabriel?
absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
guys.
All right.
Take care, guys. We'll
Have
talk
a
later.
good one. Take
Go
care.
get-
you.
Work
go
on your
get some lunch.
lessons. Work on your
Yeah,
lessons.
I'm gonna go to the dentist and come back and do it.
I'm
Okay, done.
gonna, I was thinking, Katza and Javier, I don't think it's gonna impede me from speaking or opening my mouth. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, I have a surgery scheduled. They're gonna extract my wisdom tooth here.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, because it's got a
Oh,
cavity.
good.
It's got a cavity.
Oh no.
So yeah, it's painful. At sometimes
Yes, it
it's
is.
not painful every day, but you know what?
No, but it's
Sometimes when I'm stressed or
I know,
something,
yeah.
I don't know
Uh-huh.
what it triggers something that
Mhm.
ooh, I get a really bad headache or painful,
Yes.
toothache right here. So
Well,
I went and I
there's
already got
nerves
the
in there.
X-rays and they saw we gotta take it out. Yeah.
Oh my God.
All
That's what
right. Yeah.
even
Hey,
if I
George,
speak this
quick-
way, I'll be able
Quick
to.
question about grammar, okay, guys. George,
No,
quick
no
question.
grammar. You said no
No,
grammar.
wait, quick
No
question,
grammar,
quick question,
man.
George. Quick question. Is butt cheeks one word or should I spread them apart? What, what do you think?